All right, so we took the tape off, so your painting looks... So last class you painted the background and you took the tape off, so now you're going to add some details. The first thing you should do is take some white paint and we're going to go over the tree. As you noticed, some paint may have gotten underneath the tape, so we're just going to go over the whole tree with white paint. And you're going to use a smaller brush. Be careful along the edges. And if you need an even smaller brush, we have some, just let us know. So maybe for the smaller branches. So we're just going to go over all of the tree with white paint. So notice that there's no big thick globs of paint in the tree. That's because we only have about an hour to make this painting and we want to give the white some time to dry, and if you paint it too thick it won't dry during this class period. So I'm going to let that dry, and while that's drying I am going to make my tree shadows. You could do whatever color you'd like. I'm going to do blue with a little bit of black in it, and all my shadows have to go the same direction because the light in my painting is going to be coming from over here. So all the shadows are going the same direction. So I'm going to start under the trees. You don't have to add shadows if you don't want to. Everyone's painting is going to be slightly different. Now is also a good time to add any details to the snow. So maybe I want a little bit more white. So if you're not going to paint over a section again, what I mean is if you're not going to add anything else to this, then it can be a little bit thicker. So maybe you want some texture for the snow. So some of you had dark backgrounds or didn't have any white in the background. So you can easily add some white now for the snow if you want snow. So I'm just going to add some random piles of white to act as little mounds of snow. Okay. So you've given this some time to dry, and now what we're going to do is we're going to add the bark. I'm going to use black. It's still a little wet, so it'll probably end up being gray. We also have silver and gold paint if you'd like to try that, or if you want to do a different color like brown. Like I said, everyone's is going to look different. So what I like to do with birch trees is I make my lines kind of curved to go with the shape of the tree. So I'm going to draw a few lines. Maybe some start on the edge here. Maybe there's a few in one spot. If you want it to look more natural, you don't want to create a pattern. So what I mean is you don't want to do like big line, short line, big line, short line, because it's going to be more random in nature. So I'm going to add a little more black down here to kind of separate the tree from the snow. And like I said, you don't have to use this color. Another thing you might want to do is if there's any spots in your tree, like in my tree right here, there's some blue paint showing through the white. I'm just going to add a line there. So if there's any spots that you couldn't cover up the paint, you can add a line. So I'm going to put this in quick mode and you can watch me finish this.
When you're all finished, if you have time, you can add some animals. You can also add trees in the background that are gray and smaller, so they look further away. This is how this painting also has some grass in the ground. Here are some examples of birch tree paintings done by children, and they have fences in them, and some of them have smaller trees in the background. Their shadows are brown instead of black like my example. You can also create colorful trees with different color patterns within them instead of just black lines or brown lines. Everyone's paintings will look different. You can even add some small leaves throughout your painting. Or you can add many leaves, like in this painting, that are at the top of the tree, and some of the leaves have fallen into the ground, so rather than having a snowy ground, there's a pile of leaves.